Welcome to Legacy Conversations, recorded right here at the barn on Collimer Road. I'm your host, Mark Modulewski. Our mission, to educate, inspire, and entertain. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get started. Okay. Ryan Hammerle, welcome to Legacy Conversations, buddy. Thanks for coming.
Hey, thanks for having me. This is going to be a lot of fun.
I know. You were super excited about, hey, let's go on the podcast.
I've been waiting for months, and finally we got it on.
Yeah, I know. It's tough. The schedule here at Legacy Conversations is very tight.
Both ways, but we found a great day to work it out, for sure.
Yeah, it's supposed to be about 95 today, so.
Good day to be inside.
Good day to be inside. Well, cool. Well, thanks for coming in. I know you've seen a few of the podcasts, and you know how I generally start.
Absolutely.
But it's really our time. We can talk about anything we want. Usually I say, how do we meet? But generally speaking, I think it's obvious that we met through our golf club. Mm-hmm. So I've been a member at Onondaga Golf and Country Club in Fayetteville for almost 20 years, which is ridiculous, maybe a little longer. How long have you been there?
It's funny, I was going to fact check that last night. I did forget, but I want to think you were 05, and I started in 06.
Okay.
So yeah. I'm approaching 20 years, and I think you're just a smidge over.
Yeah, which is kind of neat. So you are the head golf professional at Onondaga Golf and Country Club.
I am. This is my 7th full season as the head professional at Onondaga.
It's the 7th since you're the head of it.
So 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25
that's
seasons.
Pretty cool.
So yeah.
As the head guy.
As the head guy.
Well, tell me a little bit about you. You grew up, you're a Syracuse kid.
Born and raised Syracuse, New York, Onondaga Hill. I have 2 brothers and a sister. I'm the youngest of 4. Grew up right in Onondaga Hill, went to West Hill, and attended SUNY Del High in college in professional golf management. And then in the spring of 2006, I became an intern at Onondaga, mm-hmm. and did that for 2 years and became a full-time assistant in 2008, and just continued to work under Russell Schreiber for a long time, 12 years just about.
Yeah.
And then transitioned from assistant professional to head professional. It was great.
Yeah. So when you got so you went to school, is it 4 years?
Yeah, 4 years with a business degree, and just some focus in the professional golf management.
So I don't think a lot of people understand, but to be a golf professional, a lot of it is the business aspect of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You got to be, obviously, hospitality, customer service is very important, but behind the scenes is definitely business, making sure things are in line and you're providing the right things to everybody.
Yeah. So tell me about the journey to become a pro, right? So if I wanted to become a pro, like there's certain things that I have to get done through the Professional Golf Association.
Correct. So I am a Class A member of the PGA of America. There is stages to become an assistant. You're in the B ranks, you work your way to the A ranks, but you need to take obviously a 3-level program that PGA of America offers, which is very user friendly, teaches you everything from food and beverage to fitting equipment, fitting members, and any golfer for that matter, golf fleet management, tournament management, and of course business, inventory management, how to do those things as well. In between those 3 levels, you do have to take a player ability test and shoot a certain score for 36 holes. Once you do that, then you're well on your way to becoming a Class A pro. But for those who may be interested in doing something like that and maybe think their game's not quite ready, it's a process that, in due time, I think you'll be able to successfully pass it. And it's interesting, golf business is not for everybody, but it is also a good business where I think especially the last 4 or 5 years, I've expanded my branches and can do a lot of different things now.
Yeah. What's the best part about being a golf professional?
Going to a golf course every day.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than pulling up to Onondaga or any golf course for that matter. You're outside for most of your day, inside, outside, dealing with people. I like building relationships with people, and golf business, golf course, that's a lot of opportunities to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's worse places to work, right, than in a really nice golf course.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's for sure. There's what's one of the most challenging things about being a golf professional?
Oh, this is the easiest answer of the day is time. And that's probably a lot of people's answer, but on the golf world, time is key. You know, what time can I get on the golf course? What time are you going to be there? What time can we do a lesson? You know, all those things, time management with family is definitely the hardest part of being in the golf business.
Yeah, certainly with family. Because realistically, like when summer hits in upstate New York, people want to play golf, right? And they want to play golf during the day. They want to play in the evenings. They want to play on the weekends. So
early as possible.
Early as possible, right? So some want to tee off as soon as the sun comes up. Other people want to play at 3:00 on a Sunday afternoon.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of like retail in that part. That's a challenge because you always have to have somebody there.
Yeah, but we've done a good job of that, especially recently with a good mix of staff that can help blend everybody, make sure that everyone's getting their opportunity.
Yeah, I think that's the other part, at least with the role that you're in now. Like you have a team of people that work with you,
Absolutely.
right? Like you have to run a staff, you have to run a team, and it's everything from folks who are helping greet people, like the kids who are helping with the bags, to assistant professionals. So because you can't be there 24/7, right?
No. Sometimes I feel like I am, and then told to get out of there. So I'm getting better at that. Still not great at it.
Yeah. So okay, so you're the head professional. You grew up in Syracuse. You've always wanted to be a golf pro?
I was probably going to be a professional wrestler first. Back in my teenage days, I was going to be the next Stone Cold or The Rock.
WWE type thing?
I had it going. I felt like my charisma could have led to stardom, but I never grew. So it didn't work out.
Yeah, you're not the biggest guy I've ever met.
No.
So the WWE thing would be tough.
No, that did not pan out. But golf became very popular when I was 11, 12 years old, and met a few people in the golf business, and my dad took me golfing. Probably our first round was Orchard Valley in South Onondaga. I think we went golfing, and then my sister ended up marrying a son of a golf pro, and his name was Rocky Kelly. He's pretty much a well-known name in the central New York area, and he was a golf pro. So we would go to a lot of different golf courses and play when I was a teenager, and then it just kind of stuck with me. And then I became like a high schooler and was golfing on the golf team. Life was good, but I wasn't going to make the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
Just like I wasn't going to be a professional wrestler. So I didn't really know what to do, and then I actually had a counselor at my high school shoot me in the direction of the college that had the professional golf management. So I didn't really have many other aspirations, so I gave it a shot, and it clicked. It was a good fit, I think, for sure. But definitely a lot of different people helped me along the way to get there, for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I know a handful of golf pros and I know a handful of folks who are in the golf industry, and I think it's so different than the average person thinks. They drive by. I think half of the people don't even know there's such a thing as a tour professional, right? Like somebody who is actually there running a golf course, because it takes more than just saying, hey, listen, your tee time's at 8:10 to run the golf course, right? What's the biggest surprise from the time that you're a kid, you're playing golf, your whole focus in high school is, can I shoot the best score I can? And then you go to college, right, and you're still playing golf and you're learning the business aspect of it. What was the biggest surprise when you actually showed up for your first day on a golf course and you're working there?
That's a good question. I think the biggest surprise would be just as much as things are not seeming to move fast, they move faster than you think. Like you have 5 people on the driving range. You got 4 people staging, ready to play golf. You got 4 more going to the tee. There's 4 on the green. Someone wants to go off number 10. The phone's ringing. You got somebody looking for a lost golf club all at once. So it just becomes, all of a sudden it can be quiet, and then all of a sudden the storm can hit of 18 different things going on.
I definitely have seen that. So I've spent a little time with the golf committee in Onondaga, so you and I have interacted for a long time. And I think anybody who comes to the golf course just thinks, well, that guy or gal really doesn't have anything going on except what I have going on. So I'd like to go off 10. Have you found my rangefinder? Is there a cart for me to go? But you may have 6, 8, 10, 12 different people asking for little things all at the same time.
Everybody does that for sure. It happens all over, but you got to just be there to take care of it. That's what you're there for.
Yeah. Well, one of the things, I want to get to a couple of things, but one of the things that you had talked about earlier, So you've got this idea that you have to go to school and understand how to run a golf business. And then part of that golf business is hospitality, because you want people to feel welcome, because people don't go to places that they don't feel welcome, right?
Right,
Like if
absolutely.
you go to a golf course and the guy's not very nice and the course is in bad shape, then people aren't going to come, right? And
Absolutely.
so that's important. So tell me about hospitality. What did you learn in school, and then what did you learn in practice?
Well, I think it's always the funny thing, like they always think like the customer is always right. So you always have to kind of stick with that mantra because you want to make sure that they're taken care of. I've always gone by the attitude of definitely making sure that, you put them first, and, if there's an issue at hand, that you try to take care of it the best you can then, or, kindly tell them a way that it may, we'll keep looking, or we'll keep doing and trying our best to fix this.
Yep.
I'm screwing your cords up.
That's okay.
But for the most part, I think the hospitality aspect is just making sure everyone feels at home or is enjoying it the way they want to enjoy it, because everybody at every golf course is going to be there, whether to have family fun or to shoot their lowest score or just to go out and have a scramble. So everyone's different, and you need to just make sure we approach them all in a different way. So I think you just got to have a good look for how each person acts, and then you can identify your hospitality that way. Everyone's going to be different, in my opinion.
But the basic idea is, how can I help you, right? Like, how can I help
Exactly.
you enjoy the time? Because they made a decision to come and hit golf balls or putt or chip or play 9 holes. And it's like, how can I help you enjoy the next? Because it's a recreation, right? It's a leisure sport.
Totally.
Nobody's coming up there because they're making money doing it.
Right.
Just is what it is,
Right.
which is kind of neat. Okay, so you get through hospitality, you get through the business piece. At least at your current position, part of your job is managing a budget, is working with the pro shop, which you own, right? Like, you're part of a club. We're going to talk about the difference between private and public here in a minute. But so as a business owner, right? So not only are you working at the country club, trying to have the hospitality and working with everybody else, but you're also trying to run a business, right? You're trying to run a pro shop.
Correct.
What are some of the great things and the challenges around that?
Well, the great things are definitely the great comments that you receive from members and guests, and the shop looks great, our merchandise is great. The challenging part is picking out that stuff for everybody and making sure it fits for everybody, both look, color, size, etc. But I do enjoy doing that, but at the same time, it is challenging. You may look at a few shirts and you say, "Man, why did I get that one?" But
so you're just talking about like inventory, right?
inventory.
So like at some point, 6, 8, 10 months ago, you had to decide, this is the shirt I want to bring in and put a logo on it. And I have to order so many smalls, medium, large, extra large, double X. And I hope that the membership looks at that shirt and goes, that's a cool shirt. I'd like to buy it.
Right.
Because otherwise you bought a shirt and you're like, okay, now what?
Exactly. So providing not just apparel, but equipment and hats and, head covers, some things that we definitely have continued to step up. Our hat game is really strong. So those little things that are just small items, but they go a long way.
Your microphone right here.
To show that you're trying.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I enjoy the inventory aspect of it. But it is challenging when you deal with things like, for example, this spring, rain almost every day, or if it wasn't raining, it was cold. So you just sit on stuff for a little bit. But for the most part, it all ends up working out. And, some advice from someone like yourself in the past has helped me feel more comfortable with doing some things. So it's an up and down, but more ups and downs.
Yeah, for sure. I always thought it was fascinating because when I first got into golf, let's say 25 years ago, I didn't really play as a kid. Started to play when I got into the business, got introduced to our golf club, and that's kind of what got me in it. My thought behind golf was, the golf pro at the golf club was Tiger Woods, right? That's what they were. And their main job was to dress nice, stand up, and teach me how to play golf. And now that I've been around golf professionals for a long time, the reality of it is they go to work like everybody else, right? Trying to make everybody feel comfortable, trying to make sure that their time is good, that you have the gear that you need, that the carts are okay, that the course is okay, because you get compliments on everything, but you also get criticisms on everything, right? Sure. So if there's a branch down or the greens are slow, it's your fault, right? Yeah. if it's too hot or it's too cold or if it's too wet, it's your fault. And the reality of it is, like, there's golf course management, and you partner with the superintendent of the course, but it's not like you cut the grass, right? You don't make those
Yeah,
decisions.
no, and then weather is definitely a huge factor in all that for both him and I. But yeah, I mean, I definitely am there to take some of that criticism, and for the most part, we don't get a whole lot of it, which is a good
Yeah.
thing. And I'm sure everywhere around the golf course industry is going to get criticized, but that's just sometimes a good thing because you kind of can know where you are and
Yeah.
work to get better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's all good for sure. But yeah, I hear a lot, and then it's all good stuff.
Yeah. Tell me, okay, so tell me a little bit about the difference between working at a public course as a golf professional and working at a private course.
Okay. So I've had a little bit of public golf course experience, but in my my older teens, younger 20s. But for me, I think the biggest difference is why I kind of continued to be in the private golf course industry is the relationships. You see Mr. Smith and Mrs. Smith every day or every other day, and you're able to build a relationship with them, and then you can feel a little more family atmosphere as opposed to the public where you may see so many different faces. They're not really able to connect. Don't get me wrong. I love public golf. Public golf is great. I encourage it, but I personally enjoy it to where I can go somewhere and have a little better relationship other than just, of course, in the public world, you're going to see a lot of the same golfers at that same facility, but just knowing and feeling a little bit better relationship with those people, and it's something that I feel I've been good at and fits well in the private world. So that's my main big difference. It's not always, people always think the public golf courses are, not in as good shape or the greens are slow, but that's not the case. There's a lot of great public golf courses out there. We're going to see one this fall at the Ryder Cup. So I do think that, just little amenities maybe stand out that might be different, like your locker room access, your bar access. But for the most part, I just think that relationship you can build really is what, from the PGA atmosphere, is what really stands out to me.
Yeah. I mean, budget's always an issue, right? Because not all public courses have high budgets, but not all private courses have high budgets either, right? So part of that experience depends on the budget you have. The other thing that I think is pretty interesting is I'm lucky enough to be a member of two golf clubs. One is a golf club and one is a country club. So as a golf professional, what's the difference?
Well, your country club's going to have a pool and tennis course. You know that golf club doesn't.
Yeah.
I almost think that's kind of the close answer is when you're at a golf club, for the most part, it is just golf.
Everything revolves around golf.
And that's it. We're more of where we have facilities of tennis courts, swimming pool, paddle courts, pickleball. My experience, most golf clubs are just what you said, maybe a driving range, practice green, and 18 holes of golf or more. But that's
and
it.
A pro shop.
And a pro shop, of course.
And I think the other part of the country club focus is the house. At least with Onondaga, you have a restaurant, you have a bar, you have a facility that you can use, not rent, you can use, you can organize it. You have events that don't revolve around golf, right? In a golf club, all the events that happen around the calendar are golf events, right? In a country club, there are golf events, and then there are Christmas parties, and there are weddings, and there are there are things that kind of mix back and forth. There's swim team, there's camps, and the camp might have something to do with golf, or it might not have something to do with golf.
Very, very, very true. There's always something going on in the clubhouse, and we do a good job to mix and blend golf and clubhouse activities. And obviously the staff over there just does a phenomenal job to keep it all in link.
Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, so let's talk about some fun stuff. So tell me about your golf game.
Golf game's great.
Golf game's great.
Yeah, I mean, PGA professionals play golf every day. We hit balls morning and night.
Yeah.
My golf game's good. I'm getting better. I had to take a little leave from the game for some thumb surgery late October, and I'm getting better. Played some golf, some few tournaments already this year. Was able to play one with you. It didn't go great, but that was my first round in about 250 days with you. But I bounced back nicely about 2 weeks later and was able to, shoot a more traditional round of golf. But yeah,
That's part of the deal, right? Like people think, well, if you're as a golf professional, you must be playing golf all the time, right?
every day.
Like you must hit golf balls every day, you putt every day, you play some holes every day. But realistically, when you get up and go to work, you're going to work. So it's
Exactly.
not like you have 4 hours in the middle of the day just go play 18 holes.
I haven't touched the club in about a week and a half, and that's, people would probably be good. What? And it's like, yeah, he's really been really busy, and I'm trying to make sure that your golf experience is good. And don't get me wrong, I like to golf, but sometimes my clock doesn't always allow me to get that in
Yeah.
during the week. So I'll try to hit some balls here and there, but for the most part, I do not golf as much as I once did or once would like to do. But that will change in due time, and I still have played plenty of golf in my day, and I don't feel bad for myself that I don't play as much as I once did. I'm sure in due time that'll change. But yes, there is a stigma out there that the PGA pros are just chipping and putting and practicing and playing all day, and it's far from the truth.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, to me, it was that thought of someone who says, boy, I really love the restaurant or bar business. And it's like, well, be careful, because if you turn your passion into your job, then your passion becomes your job.
Yeah.
So for you, it's like there's this balance, right? You have a beautiful wife and beautiful kids and some dogs running around. And if you're not at the golf course, you want to go hang out with them.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, when do I have 2 or 3 or 4 hours to go play
Right.
golf? So it becomes hard. And if you were to think back 20 years from now, you'd be like, man, golf professional, I get to go to golf course and play golf all the time.
Yeah. And you definitely think that, and there's still gonna be some times where I'll be at the golf course and I'll find my way 10 o'clock on a Saturday on the back nine joining a group or something like that. But yeah, the times have changed a little bit, and you do think you can play a lot. But I think I also have come to realize that it is a job,
Yeah.
and I still enjoy my job, and the golf part will just be a bonus until, I get older and maybe retire and play every day.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's kind of, I mean, the reality of golf is I think it's gotten more and more popular. We can kind of philosophize on whether there's too many golf courses or not enough. And it seems like the sport of golf continues to grow. But you can oversaturate it, right? In Syracuse, I don't know how many golf courses we have, public and private, but there's a lot of them.
Yeah, you can pick and choose pretty well in the central New York area for sure, and they're all great facilities. I think Syracuse is a very strong golf course community, both golfers and golf courses. We have some really strong golf courses here. So I think that we're in a good spot, but there's definitely some areas that were oversaturated with golf courses for a little bit there, and they're seeing them, kind of shut down or move on to different type of facilities. But for Syracuse area, we're in a good spot, and I think overall the game is definitely continuing to grow. We're seeing a lot of juniors, females, males, lapsed golfers, people who once played and then decided to come back.
Okay.
I think golf's in a good spot, especially with where we've been the last couple of years. I think we're trending up.
Yeah. Has technology in golf made the average golfer better in the last 20 years?
Oh, absolutely, for sure.
How so?
Well, the golf ball, number one, it really helps them for sure. And just the forgiving drivers. I mean, 20 years, even now, we'll call it 2005, there were some large titanium drivers in the market at that time, but technology just shifting the weight in the club lower, getting that launch angle up, trying to reduce your spin off your drive. The driver has definitely helped. The golf ball just seems to compress nicely and just go a little bit longer than it once did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it's a problem. I'm for the golf ball to go as far as it currently does. And, irons have changed a little bit, like your old pitching wedge used to be 48 degrees, but now your pitching wedge is probably 43 degrees. So you think you hit it really far.
Yeah.
It's more like your 9-iron back in the day. So, but driver technology has come a long way to really help. And basically, along with that, stuff like TrackMan and, all these foresight technologies, they've really helped the everyday golfer kind of figure out where they can improve their game.
Figure some of this stuff out rather than, because it used to be a big deal to go to a golf professional so they can video your swing.
Right.
Remember, it was like a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And now with an iPhone, you
we're
can
all
video the swing, and then you can upload it to some app that says, hey, your path is inside out or outside in or whatever else.
So that is definitely coming around, the apps that will self-assist you, but we still think that, I say we, I mean, I still
Yeah.
think that I speak in the PGA talk
Yes,
there,
yeah, absolutely.
that the PGA professional will still be needed to assist when it comes to things like that.
Yeah.
And again, going back to creating that bond and relationship with a student you're trying to teach goes a long way as well.
Mhm. Well, I mean, it's similar to our business. People will say, "Well, your business is going to go away because computers are just going to do it," and it's like, yeah, but computers can't replace the interpersonal relationship.
Yeah.
So same thing with golf. Someone can say, "Mark, you're coming over the top, and you need to come from underneath, and you need to tuck in your elbow."
Okay.
But if I read it or somebody helps me deal with it, it's a little easier than just kind of seeing it on the screen, for
Right.
sure. Yeah. So what is the most common mistake from an amateur golfer? So Jane Smith gets up there, and let's say they have a reasonably athletic swing. What's the most common question you get asked? Be like, Ryan, I would like you help me fix this.
Well, I mean, the slice is obviously very popular, but I go back to like the simples of grip, aim, and setup. I like to call it gas. You need to have gas in your swing.
Gotcha. I need more gas in my swing.
Yeah. Well, yes, you do.
I do.
And those three things, grip, aim, setup, are crucial before you even hit the golf ball. And yes, people slice because the face is open or they might be over the top, but some of those things come from the setup, mainly people aligning wrong and
Yeah.
body weight's not in the right setup. So, but those things can lead to the open face. So I like to fix those things first. Let's get in a setup in a good position, good grip on the golf club. How do we align to our target? The flag's here. Do you aim your feet to the flag or the club to the flag? So, that's the most common question. I mean, I get it a lot is, I can't hit my driver. I can't hit my driver.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
And you don't get me wrong, it's the longest club in the bag. It's the hardest one to hit. It can be. But if done right, it can be the more consistent club in your bag. And I think it's easy to say that a majority try to overswing that club because they see everybody, especially on TV now, carrying it 330. That they want to do that too. But if you really look at it, those guys are doing it with pure tempo and timing and great transition as opposed to just, trying to swing Barry Bonds style for it.
Well, I think that's interesting because most people would say the people who hit it the farthest are the strongest. And it really isn't the strongest. It's the fastest club head speed, right? It's squaring the face and getting the fastest club head speed. So there's a difference between strong and fast.
Totally.
So you get some really big, strong person who swings as hard as they can. There's a lot of power, but doesn't generate a ton of speed. Whereas you get someone who's 6'5", ridiculously flexible and athletic, and then just the fact that their transition and how fast the club is coming down the ball just takes off.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, part of the physics of the game is pretty interesting. I mean, for me, I would say my miss at least once around will be some high fade, right? So I come over the top, the ball either starts left or starts straight and then just goes to the right. And I just know that that's my club face being open. I don't shift my weight from front to back. I never lined up well, right? Like, it's amazing that I do what needs to happen. And then if that club tends to do okay, then the next club, right, my mid irons or my short irons, now they're messed up for some reason. Right now, my driver's not good, but my wedge is good, or my wedge isn't good, but my driver's doing great.
Oh yeah.
And then what's the most important club in the bag?
Oh, it's your putter.
It's your putter, and then you still get on the
easy.
green.
It's easy, and people are probably putting 80% of their time into practicing their driver and about 20% or less on that putter practice. So, yeah, that's definitely part of it. I do think too that when you go back to that physics of it, I see so many people when they hit their irons, for the most part, ball's not on a tee. They think the club has to go under the ball.
Yes.
And I'll ask people that, I go, do you think that club goes under the ball? They're like, yeah. Like, well, it's not. You're compressing that ball, and that's where the physics kick in. The ball meets club face, loft, has nowhere else to go but up.
Yes.
So it's funny that you mentioned that. But so there's so many people out there that think that, maybe if you're hitting a flop shot, right, you kind of scoop under it. But the ball, the club does not go under the ball for the most part. And when they hear that, they kind of,
Well, you see people who
pinch
try
the
to
ball.
almost like they try to like dip, you can see their hands kind of try to go underneath, right? Like they're swinging under because they're like, well, I have to get the ball up in the air.
Totally.
But the club is angled so that if you hit it square on the back, the face makes it go up in the air.
Correct.
Except, some bunker shots or something like that.
There's situations.
You have to understand it. And I played a lot of golf with my buddy Darren, who and we would talk about the fact, like, do you even understand how to hit the shot, right? Not can you hit it? It's like, do you even understand what you need to do to hit that shot? And when you see somebody line up in a bunker and their feet are closed and the club face is, closed, it's like they don't have a chance of getting it out. Because they don't even understand, like, for that ball to get up, you have to attempt to do this. You still might not do it, but it's not going to happen.
Part of the grip aim setup. You got to be set up to hit that shot.
You got to be set up to hit it. So if I'm a amateur golfer, right? We're going to talk about handicap here in a second, but if I'm an amateur golfer, what do I work on the most, right? Like, I know that I want to go there because what attracts everybody is the ability to hit this big, long, straight ball. But it doesn't necessarily equate to a good score, right? Because I've played with lots of guys who hit it 220 yards just down the middle and shoot 3, 4, 5, 6 over. And you're like, how do they do that? And I hit it 50, 60, 70 yards by them, and they beat me. So it can't be just the driver. What do I practice as an amateur to help my score go down?
Well, I think I mentioned it earlier, putting is number one, which seems to be number whatever on the bottom of people's lists of practicing. But it's not just that. It's like your scoring area, 80 yards and in.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be situations on the golf course where you hit a bad drive, perhaps, and as opposed to trying to be the hero and put it on the green, maybe you lay up to 80 and see if you can get it up there and make it 4 or 5 and eliminate 6 and 7 from the card.
Yeah.
So the wedges are so important, and having the proper wedges for your golf bag are just as important. I always, am more to hit a wedge than I am any other club, because that's the one that I think, if you need to score, need that one shot, it's going to help you out a little bit more. So again, it's a little bit more boring, not as fun as ripping driver, but I think the short game, anywhere between 180 yards and in, and obviously sometimes even 30 yards and in case you do try a median hero and go for a shot and you're in an awkward yardage. I don't think that yardage is practice enough where you're like quarter swinging your golf club.
Yeah. I watched something on the Golf Channel several years back, and it was Dustin Johnson and Rory McIlroy talking about where they spend most of their time. And Dustin says that he hits a half a dozen drivers, and then all of his time is spent 150 yards in.
Yeah.
And Rory says, I'm similar to that, right? He they hit drivers and they hit 3-woods and they hit 5 irons. But the reality is 100, 150 yards is it. Like, that's where you score, right? And your ability to scramble makes a big difference. I think one of the things that helped me go from what's the average handicap golfer roughly in the U.S.? Is it an 18?
Yeah, he's probably like a 19.
18,
like,
19.
If you go index-wise, like an index of maybe 18.6.
Okay. So to go from that average person down to where I am today, I think the major difference, obviously with the setup and trying not to make 8s or 9s on cards, but is golf course management, right? So the other part of the game helped me understand this, and there's a couple of people in my golf journey who've helped me do this. I hit a bad drive and I'm in the rough and I'm 227 yards away in the rough and there's a tree in my way. And I think the average person says, well, how can I get to the green? And the good golfer goes, how do I get this to a position so my next shot I give myself the best chance of upping it?
Absolutely.
It's just golf course management, right? Like you do things. It's like, well, you're 286 away. Well, I'm going to rip a 3-wood and see if I can get there, and be like, yeah, but there's a pond, there's trees, there's bunkers. Like, why don't you just hit a wedge? Well, I can't get there.
I did it one time though.
Yeah, there's one time.
The one time I did it, I swear.
There's one time, and man, did it feel good.
Yeah. So, no, I think that's what is like the angel and devil on your shoulder. You just don't know where to go, and you have to make those decisions. But that's why every golfer is different, and I think that's cool too. There's people that approach it differently. Hit it 220 and shoot 3 or 4 over, or try and hit it long and find themselves a little bit more over par. So, I think it's fun to watch. Everybody played a little bit differently.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me about this handicap system, because you and I have talked about this a lot because of my role at the golf club and obviously your role. So explain the USGA handicap system.
gosh.
Simply stated.
Simply.
For the person who doesn't know anything about it. So you're
Yeah.
explaining it to
It takes
your wife or to my
Yeah,
wife.
it takes the 8 best scores of your most 20 recent scores.
Yeah.
So if you had
So I play 20 rounds of golf, and it takes my 8 best of the last 20.
Yeah, based on date, yeah.
Yep.
And you know, based on the slope and rating of the course you played, if it'll give you, you know, a differential, which will then kind of work into your handicap.
So it's trying to make a level playing field, right? So you're trying to take athleticism and the ability to play golf. So if my 8 best scores of the last 20, let's say we're 10 over par, right? On average, we're 10 over par. There's some formula inside the algorithm that says not all golf courses are as easy, right? Which is the slope. And the higher the slope, the harder the golf course is. And then there's the rating, right? Which is the same thing. Well, similar. It's like if I'm a par 71, right? It's different than if you're a par 72 or if you're a par 69.
Yeah.
So all that stuff gets put together and you get this index, and this index number gets applied. So when I go to a course, I can say I'm an index of X, right? 7.3. And it says, okay, Mr. Modulewski, if you play from the whites, you have 8 strokes, which means on average, if you played this 20 times, your best 8 scores will be roughly 8 over par. Is that
give or take around that? Yeah. But the funny thing is, though, if you shoot 10 over in 10 rounds, you think, well, I'm a 10. You might not be, because that 10 over score was played at a difficult golf course. You may say, oh, he's playing like a 6 or 7 today.
Right.
So it all averages out, but it's very close to that. But that's why we definitely use the rating to go to course to figure out what that determined number is.
If I'm a 6 or 7 or 8 from the white tees at Onondaga, if I go to a much more difficult course, I might be a 10.
Yeah.
Or if I go across the street at the golf course across the street, I might be, a 4.
Right.
Just because of how difficult the golf course is.
Exactly. It definitely. And then, obviously, if you're a 4 handicap and I'm an 8 handicap, we can play a match together however we'd like and use those handicaps to even the playing field, like you mentioned. So we want those to be up to date and accurate so you can have good competitive matches out there. Because, again, we know that not every golfer is at the same level. We all strive to be better, but that's why that handicap process is there.
Right. So it's to level the field. So when you and I are playing and we're different, right? Let's say that you're playing to, we'll use the exact opposite. You're playing to a 4, I'm playing to an 8. I get 4 more strokes than you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I go to play for us, if you shot 70 and I shot 74, in theory, right? If you were a 4 and I'm an 8, then we both played to our handicap, played well.
Yep.
But the local USGA rates your golf course and rates the holes based on difficulty, right?
Yes.
And then that's how you apply those strokes. Explain that to me a little bit.
Yeah. So for the most part, you have your front 9. It doesn't always work this way. Would be your odd handicap holes, and your backside would be your even handicap holes. 1 being the hardest golf hole on the course, and number 18 being the easiest hole. So they rate all 18 holes, and then if you're getting 4 strokes on a golf course, you'd get them on the 4 hardest holes.
And in theory, it would be 2 on the front, 2 on the back. Not
correct.
Always, but
for the most part, it will be 2 on the front, 2 on the back, and that. If it was like a 3, for example, it'd be 2 on the front, 1 on the back, because the odd even.
Mm-hmm.
They look at your surroundings of your golf course. Is there hazards? Is there trees, deep bunkers, moundings that are going to make this golf course play difficult compared to one that's just flat with nothing there?
Wide
So
open.
they use a certain balance number to par and get all that ratings together. But for the most part, it helps the playing field stay even. You're going to have a couple days where you may shoot above your handicap or well below your handicap.
Sure.
But for the most part, the handicap process helps keep things even.
Yeah. I think that's what is kind of interesting. You look at our golf course, and our most difficult hole is number 2, right? On our golf course, it's the number 1 handicap. So when you look on the golf card, it'll show you from different tees, which is different distances, right? And then it'll show what the handicap is, and then what par is.
Mm-hmm.
So ours, number 2, is a par 4, One of the reasons why it's the most difficult is it's long, it's uphill the entire way, and you can't see the surface of the green when you're approaching your shot.
Of course.
So in theory, you have to hit a very solid drive to put yourself in a big fairway. There's traps on the corner to the right, which is where most golfers miss, right? Righties do, and to the right. So then once you get there, now you have to execute a very long uphill shot, often into the wind, and you can't see where your ball's going to land, which is hard. And then there's a green that slopes from back to front, which is a difficult green.
Very.
Right. So that's the number one handicap, because that's the hole that golfers are least likely to make par as often, right? Whereas 16 on our golf course is a short par 4. And once you hit a reasonable shot, which you could almost hit an 8-iron or a pitching wedge up to a driver, and then see it, and it slopes from back to front, so it almost stops your ball to put it there. So it makes it's the easiest hole. It doesn't mean you can't make a big number on it. We've all done it, but it makes it easier, right? I think the handicap system does work most of the time, but it works best if, in fact, people put in scores.
Yes.
Right. So you have to consistently put in
Day of play as well. But once you finish your round, post your score. It should just go hand in hand.
Yeah. I was going to ask you something else about tournament golf, but tell me about the golf culture, like in Central New York. Tell me about the golf culture that you've been part of for all these years. What is the typical golf culture? Because I have in the back of my mind, when somebody says I'm going to play golf or let's go play golf, there's this culture in the back of my mind of what it looks like. What does golf culture look like to you?
It's a good question. The golf culture in Syracuse is more hard nosed in my opinion. They're going to go out if it's snowing, maybe even a little bit cold, just to know that they can get that round in March or November. But I think that the golfing world probably gets a rap that they're like, he's getting his suit and tie off and then putting on his, sweater to finish a round of golf. Is not the case at all. I think it was maybe once that when in the 1900s way back, but I think that the golf, community and the golf vibe right now is very upbeat, positive. Everyone's thinking, enjoying being outdoors as much as they can. And, I would say it's a lot more positive than maybe what it once was, which again is helping the growth of the game. Yeah,
I do too. So like it goes from everything to the black and whites of Ben Hogan playing where they have a tie on to play golf, to now you have anybody, regardless of profession, who could be super excited about going to play golf, right? And they're putting on a pair of sneakers and a pair of shorts and a golf shirt, and you hope maybe it's tucked in, and they're going to they're going to the course and they're smacking the ball around, right? And
absolutely, yeah.
So it becomes a fun pastime, and not everybody wants to compete. Some people want to do it for exercise. Some people want to do it for leisure. Some people want to enjoy a beverage, but it's just something to do, right?
Absolutely,
not a lot of stress, in theory.
Not in theory, not a lot of stress.
You mishit it. Yeah. Then there's a lot of stress. So tell me about tournament golf. So one of the things that you do, and like at our course, you play, you organize tournaments, and tournament golf's a little different than, hey Ryan, do you want to play golf on Thursday afternoon? Right. Where I bet you $1 that I do better than you, or we just go out and have fun and shoot a score and go in and, have a soda afterwards. What's tournament golf like?
Well, tournament golf is, I enjoy it. It's a little bit, it's organized. You know who's coming. You know when they're coming. It's a lot of behind the scenes work before we just say, all right, 1:00, we're going to have 100 guys go out. Finding names, tracking down names, getting players' handicaps, getting all that pertinent information for the tournament is always difficult. But as far as the tournament, there's nothing better than just getting set up, making things organized and look good, and being ready to go well ahead of time. One thing I like to do, and hopefully I can continue to do, is be ready to go well in advance before the crowd shows up. Yeah. It's not always going to work that way, but we had a tournament last Friday. It was an 8:15 start, and I got there at 6:25 to start setting up, and I think I was going to beat the crowd, and somebody showed up at 6:58, and didn't have the cart signs. I'm like, can you give me just 2 minutes?
Yeah.
So, but running tournaments are great. I enjoy the prep is one of the more difficult parts, because then once the tournament comes, it just kind of runs itself. Once everyone shows up, gets checked in, it makes all that prep worthwhile. And the tournament becomes for some maybe a little more serious golf, where they're locked in, trying to put a good number up, playing with a partner, or perhaps playing individually, which can be a little bit different for yourself. Most of our tournaments, I would say, at Onondaga are team, maybe mixed in with some individual atmosphere. But the tournament aspect is just maybe a little change, where things maybe do get locked in a little bit more, and maybe that we go maybe to the classical, where it's a little bit more hush hush, quiet, making sure things are in line. And but again, we have plenty of fun tournaments as well. I mean, every other year we do the night golf type of thing, or hit the green, double your money. So we keep it fun. And as long as you can be prepared, the tournaments are going to be great, no matter where.
Well, it's like this this anticipation, because there's a whole bunch of people coming, so you get excited about doing it. And then once everybody goes, whether it's shotgun or whether they have tee times and they're out on the course, and there's this little bit of a lull, right? Yeah. Now you're sitting there just hoping everything is working out. Yeah. And then when it comes back in, now there's a whole bunch of stuff, whether it's technology using Golf Genius or whether people are handing in scorecards. Now there's another frenzy to kind of say, hey, listen, what happened? And ultimately, you just want everybody to have a good time, right? So when you get done, it's like, man, everybody had a good time. Like, they enjoyed our course.
Absolutely.
So one of the things I think was interesting about tournament golf, more than every other day, is course setup, right?
Yeah.
So course setup is super fun, but like if you watch the U.S. Open last week, there's no trees, right? And the flags were in places on the green that the average person would just say, oh, they just put the flag on the green, everything's fine. There was one hole where the flag was within 10 or 12 feet of itself the entire time, right? And they had holes that were playing really, really long, and they had holes that were playing really, really short. But course setup is kind of a fun thing. So like any given Saturday, you're not necessarily picking pins, but if you're having a tournament, like the one that you and I work on together, you can set the golf course up, which is really, really fun, because now the person who's standing on a tee box has to think through how does this hole play? Because not every hole plays the exact same way every single time.
No, absolutely not. And course setup is definitely an enjoyable time, and it can't be overlooked. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And that goes a little along with some golf course architecture as well. You got to know what the course brings you. But yes, that's definitely a huge part of it. Again, part of that back end behind the scenes. Is this event going to have a pin sheet? How are we going to set this pin sheet up? How are the course conditions the last few weeks? What's the weather going to be like moving forward? Yeah, those are all things that we have to think about for sure when it goes to course setup.
Yeah. Because ultimately, nobody wants to come off the golf course and shoot 150.
No.
Right? So if you normally shoot 90, you don't want to shoot 110. If you normally shoot 80, you don't want to shoot 90. If you normally shoot 70, you don't want to shoot 80, right? And golf course setup could make that happen.
Oh,
right?
For sure.
So, so when you're setting up the golf course, conditions are a big deal. And then the main things that you look at are length and pin placement, correct? So what do you do to set up a golf course so that it's fun, challenging, playable, etc. when it comes to those things?
Just put the pins in the middle of the greens.
Just smack them dead center. Put a dot right
No.
there.
Again, it comes back to knowing who's in this field, right? Who's playing in this field?
Yeah,
what's the level?
Competition.
So then, okay, am I gonna, if it's a big competition, maybe we're gonna back up a few holes that are allowed to back up without becoming too unplayable. Or, adding a few tricky pins. Or when I say tricky pins, I don't even like to use that word now that I think about it, because we're not trying to make anything tricky for anybody. Maybe more challenging pins,
right.
But in a fair way.
The golfer has to be more disciplined, right?
Right. So, be aware of their surroundings and what's going on.
So you need to hit the ball on the right side of that pin, or in the front of that pin. But if you miss hit it and it's the back,
Right.
It's going to be a challenging two putt, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't make it unfair, and I think that's what the USGA did pretty well. Is if you hit the ball in the wrong spot at the U.S. Open, you would three putt. There was more three putts in the U.S. Open this year than almost I think ever before.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that the course was unfair. It's just that your approach shot puts you in the wrong position. Because if you were in the right position, there was birdies made on every hole, and there were doubles made on every hole.
Right, yeah.
Well, that means that it's not the setup, right?
It was a good setup.
It was a good set. Yeah, which is kind of neat. So are there rules around course setup or guidelines that the USGA has? Like, how do you make it? Like, in theory, you wouldn't want every single par 3 to play the exact same length, right?
No, absolutely. There's some guidelines for sure. They're not like written in stone, but definitely some things you'd want to think about, and definitely mixing up the par 3s is something you want to do. We try our best to do it. Certain days it can be better than others, but mixing up tee boxes, not just on par 3s, is definitely going to keep your course setup fresh and different than others. I've done a lot of course setup, and you can see the good and the bad for sure.
Yeah. I think of our course on 4. It could play 170 yards, right? If you put the flag 2 paces from the front in the center, and then you play the white tee box up, or you put it towards the old red tee box, and now you've got 150-yard shot to a short pin. And then you can put it all the way back, right at the blues. You can take 2 paces from the back, and you can put it on the upper right hand section, and you've got a 215-yard shot, 220-yard shot, often into the wind.
Yeah, saying that
almost all the time in the afternoon into the sun, right? And say, well, this is a totally different hole, because if I played it yesterday, I might have had a 9-iron or an 8-iron in my hand, and today I got to hit a hybrid.
Right.
And I've got to push it way to the back. And getting on the green doesn't necessarily mean that it's a 2-putt and go home. Yeah. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. And the course setup, it was definitely an important part of the tournament aspect, and can lead to an enjoyable time or a non-enjoyable time for sure. We'd want to keep it more of the enjoyable time, and with a good mix of challenge and fun, pending, again, the event. But definitely, you gotta be aware where you're putting those pins and tees.
Yeah. Well, and I think you may have said this to me in the past, but it's like the 6, 6, and 6.
Yeah.
It's like 6 holes that are very playable. I was going to say easy, but let's just say very playable.
Right. Nothing's easy.
6 holes that are every day. Like, we often play this hole like this for the membership. And then 6 holes that are challenging. Like, don't hit the ball long here, or don't hit the ball right here. Otherwise you're going to make a bigger score.
Right.
And then who's playing, right? If it's a tournament of low single digit handicap golfers, or if it's a tournament of 85-year-old women, who generally don't play as well, their handicap's a little higher, it's not going to be set up the same. Doesn't make sense, because you'll get.
Nope. That's why you got to mix and match for sure.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Well, what else? What's the future of golf look like?
I think the future of golf is strong. We as the PG of America think that the future of golf is strong.
Were you paid to say that?
Yes.
Okay.
Copyrighted too, by the way.
Right. Yeah.
I think that it's continuing to be known that anyone can do it, anyone can play. I think now more than ever we've realized how nice it is to be outdoors and enjoy the fresh, clean air, and nowhere better to do it than on a golf course. So I think that we may see some growth in golf courses, not like we did in that Tiger Woods era where we see a million new golf courses, but maybe some new different type of golf courses, like a Top Golf or more simulator facilities. No, we don't have great weather here all year round in Syracuse, or great weather at all sometimes. So those things we may see more of, more indoor aspects, maybe that outdoor and nighttime driving range. I think more of those things are going to keep popping up, which, again, we see more golfers coming to the golf course, but there's also more golfers going to other facilities that, may not even have 18 holes. They have 2 simulators or a driving range and a putting green.
Mm-hmm.
So I see the golf world going in a lot of different directions, but still centering in the game of golf.
Yeah. And realistically, the interesting thing about golf is, regardless of ability or age, you can play some version of golf, right? You can go putt, you can go chip, you can play a short par 3 course, you can play a long challenging course, you can walk, you can push a cart, you can carry your bag, you can ride in a cart. So for like golf's got a little bit of everything for anybody, right? And there's some physical aspect to it where you have to move and stretch and do some things. There's the ability to compete. I would say that the one negative thing that golf has on it is time.
Yes.
You know, it seems like pace of play becomes one of the conversations we talk about a lot. You know, and I think some people, if you're on social media, you know, it's always those memes of the guy trying to sneak out to be like, hey, honey, I'm going to go play golf or whatever else. And then they're gone for 5.5 hours or something, you know.
Well, I've seen a few around. I don't know if it's going to be super popular, but 12-hole golf courses have become a thing where it's like 6 and 6 and you're playing more at a 2:45 pace as opposed to 4 long hours. Time is a challenge in the game of golf for sure. I'd love everybody to play in 3.5 hours. It's just not everyone moves that pace. Not everyone should. We have our own pace of play set for those standards. And, you know, when you play a golf course of that length and playing your ability, it can take a little bit longer. But that is definitely, you know, one minor negative that we have in the game of golf.
Well, it's just something you have to plan for, right? You have to realize that if you're going out to play league, it's going to be 2 to 2.5 hours. If you're going out on Wednesday at 3:00 and no one's on the golf course and it's you and your buddy and you want to go smash the ball around, you can be done in an hour and a half and, you know, be home.
Yeah, when you have, you know, casual round, it should never take that long. When you have a tournament or a league of some sort where you're, you know, people forget sometimes we double up holes because we have a field that is so big.
Yeah.
That slows you up, you know. You gotta do that, or even just that one little miscue can set you back a few minutes, and then you just gotta try to make that time up, which is easier said than done. But
it's kind of like the traffic jam, right? Like everybody's on a 6-lane highway, and then 2 people hit their brakes, and then it just backs up and backs up. It's one person hits their ball in the woods, and those 4 folks are looking in the woods for 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, and you really wish you would say, hey, listen, you're playing a team event. That ball probably doesn't matter. Drop one, hit another one. Let's just keep going. Yeah,
absolutely. I use that analogy when people will be playing 18 holes, and this is everywhere. You'll hear them say, "Oh, we're gonna, you know, go have lunch, and then we're gonna go back on number 10." I was like, "Well, you got groups behind you.
Yeah, you can't do that.
It's like 690. They're going through. You're gonna get past, and you know the cars are gonna keep coming." So yeah, that whole pace of play is, you know, very similar to the cars on the highway for sure.
There are some folks that you and I know who describe how good their golf was based on how fast they played. Which I think is hilarious.
We know a few of them.
Yeah,
it's not what they shot; it's how
they just look at their watch and be like, "Oh man, 3 hours and 50 minutes! What a great round!
Yeah, we had a great day."
Right. Whereas most of my friends want to know, like, how did you play? Like, what's the number you put on your scorecard?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yes. The time to play the game is definitely a priority for some.
Yeah, that's neat. There are definitely some folks who are golf fanatics, I think, you know, kind of like you as a WWE person. They're just like super into it.
And then it went away. It faded away.
It went away.
Yeah, I don't do it anymore. But
well, I don't think
still can be the rock.
I don't think your spouse would
well, actually, this is what led to the thumb, was when I was wrestling with the kids. So maybe that's when I should retire from any more wrestling.
You probably should, because your kids aren't really that big. So if you're hurting yourself with your kids that age, then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
They're just going to get bigger. Yeah. No, that's cool. Well, man, it's been great talking to you.
Yeah.
For anything else, it's just fun talking about golf. We'll have to get together and talk more specifically about like my game or a tournament.
Oh, yeah. We could have kept going on some things there for sure.
Yeah.
Your game, though,
that's its own podcast, dude.
I would say maybe a 2-take podcast.
It might be a 2-take thing, you know. It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
But again, that goes back to, for you, is time, right?
Don't play very often.
But I think, in my take, that you're probably close to playing some more golf than you probably had in a while, just based on.
I hope so. Yeah, like stage of life.
Yeah, exactly.
And what's going on. And it's not like we're lucky enough to be part of a golf club where finding a game and going to play is not very difficult.
This is becoming more and more easy now, actually.
Yeah. So now it's just a matter of what do you want to work into your schedule? Is it can somebody in my position do it on a Friday afternoon? Can you do it on a Saturday or a Sunday? And
right.
We're lucky that our golf course isn't super packed. It's not like you show up at, if you show up at 8:00 on a sunny Saturday, you might be waiting a little while.
Oh, yeah.
But if you show up at 11:00 on a Saturday, you'd probably be able to go play within a few minutes, which is kind of nice.
Exactly.
Kind of lucky to do that.
Very fortunate.
Yeah, super fortunate. Yeah, we won't talk a little bit about the folks that you work with. There's a couple of them in particular we need to definitely talk about.
They'll probably be for another one for sure.
That'd be a different.
But I have some great coworkers who've also, put some long time in it on Onondaga as well. So
yeah, I mean, the reality is none of that stuff happens without a great team, right? It sounds super cliche, but the club that like you serve and work for, and the club that I'm lucky enough to be a member of, I think it's one of the best ones around. And part of that is the facility, and it's the pro, and it's the superintendent, and it's the club manager, and the assistant manager, and the assistant pros. And the reality of it, people make it a cool place to go. Like you feel comfortable going up there.
Yeah.
And if you feel comfortable and you're excited about doing it, then it's a good place to be, which is nice. We just happen to have a super cool golf course too.
Yeah, absolutely. And that could be a whole other podcast in itself, talking about the great Walter Travis design.
Yeah.
But yeah, very fortunate. Onondaga and is a place to be, and that's why I'm there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty neat. I remember when Russell was leaving and we were talking about the transition, and I remember being on the board, and there was a lot of people who had the support of saying, I don't know why we'd be looking anywhere else. So we're very lucky to have you.
Yeah, thank you. Happy to be there.
Around.
Appreciate it.
Even if you are West Hill, not Warriors anymore. What are you now?
I'm a Warrior.
You're a Warrior.
Yeah, I'm not.
You're not a Warrior. You're not supposed to be a Warrior.
Wolfpack.
You're a Wolfpack. You're a Wolfpack.
I'm a Warrior.
West Hill Wolfpack. Warrior.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, thanks, buddy.
Thank
Let's
you.
Do it again.
You got it.
See you soon.